and don't stay together? How could some place so good turn out so bad? Where is the love in this land that we once had? Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Somebody gone with the love that we had. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Somebody driving this country mad. And we, yes, you and me, we have to stop this conspiracy. I'm telling you, we, yes, you and me, we have to stop this conspiracy. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Drug addiction and prostitution, teenage pregnancy have taken over my land. Much too much political corruption. Talk about race only cause more confusion. Who would ever try to put all these wrongs right? Too much frustration without no end in sight. Leader after leader put the nation under pressure, and ordinary people just have to run for cover, Lord. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Somebody gone with the love that we had. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Somebody driving my country mad. And we, yes, you and me, we have to stop this conspiracy. I'm telling you, we, yes, you and me, we have to stop this conspiracy. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Work ethics keep on going down the drain. Young people today say they ain't working again. They tell you blatantly they ain't working no more. They tired work and can't see what they working for. Price in the groceries gone sky high. The goods on the shelf and poor people cannot buy. We morals and we money gone, we don't know where it went. This can never be happening by accident. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Somebody gone with the good out of my land. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. We need to make some much more supplication. And we, yes, you and me, we have to stop this conspiracy. I'm telling you, we, yes, you and me, we have to stop this conspiracy. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Everything wrong in this land today looks alright. Defended by those who we know should know better. Raping women in the land is a disaster, yet the punishment recommended drive them to anger. What in the world are we really coming to? Where do we go from here? What are we going to do? The laws in the place is nothing but a waste. Cannot be implemented, what a judicial disgrace. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Somebody gone with the morals of this land. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Somebody causing much too much frustration. And we, yes, you and me, we have to stop this conspiracy. I'm telling you, we, yes, you and me, we have to stop this conspiracy. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation.
Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation.
You see that a nation without a soul is like a ship that has lost its rudder. No nation at all. for the other. Make sure the good of this land don't stay together. How could some place so good turn out so bad? Where is the love in this land that we once had? Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Somebody gone with the love that we had. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Somebody driving this country mad. And we, yes you and me, we have to stop this conspiracy. I'm telling you we, yes you and me, we have to stop this conspiracy. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Drug addiction and prostitution, teenage pregnancy have taken over my land. Much too much political corruption. Talk about race only cause more confusion. Who would ever try to put all these wrongs right? Too much frustration without no end in sight. Leader after leader put the nation under pressure, and ordinary people just have to run for cover, Lord. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Somebody gone with the love that we had. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Somebody driving my country mad. And we, yes you and me, we have to stop this conspiracy. I'm telling you we, yes you and me, we have to stop this conspiracy. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Work ethics keep on going down the drain. Young people today say they ain't working again. They tell you blatantly they ain't working no more. They tired work and can't see what they working for. Price in the groceries gone sky high. The goods on the shelf and poor people cannot buy. We morals and we money gone, we don't know where it went. This can never be happening by accident. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Somebody gone with the good out of my land. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. We need to make some much more supplication. And we, yes you and me, we have to stop this conspiracy. I'm telling you we, yes you and me, we have to stop this conspiracy. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Everything wrong in this land today looks alright. Defended by those who we know should know better. Raping women in the land is a disaster, yet the punishment recommended drive them to anger. What in the world are we really coming to? Where do we go from here? What are we going to do? The laws in the place is nothing but a waste. Cannot be implemented, what a judicial disgrace. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Somebody gone with the morals of this land. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Somebody causing much too much frustration. And we, yes you and me, we have to stop this conspiracy. I'm telling you we, yes you and me, we have to stop this conspiracy. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation.
Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation. Somebody thief in the soul of a nation.
Blessing, good afternoon to each and everyone. Welcome to Facts Not Fiction. Of course, yesterday was a very, very hectic day. So let me first just welcome our viewers, our listeners, those far and wide, locally, regionally, internationally. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, today I just had to come and do this show today because yesterday, as promised, we promised that we would have had the show, but because of circumstances beyond my control and the people of South control, I had to actually stand up and do what I had to do in order to preserve life and limb within the constituency of Labre and the electoral district of Palo Seco, Erin, respectively. We know, of course, we were bracing for some kind of rain, some kind of weather. And while we had some discussion on it, things turned very, very ugly, very, very as a result of the amount of rainfall that we had in the southwestern area. And so we had to get into high gear. Callers started coming in from every corner. People started complaining that they are underwater. People started complaining that they need help. They cannot get out of their homes, and those who were out of their homes could not have gotten in. And so we had to do what we had to do to assist and to preserve life and livelihood. There were one occasion in particular that really, really had some tension. And that is where, going in on the beach road, Palo Seco, a vehicle attempted to head into the Palo Seco beach road, and that vehicle was quickly swept away in floodwaters, heading for the main river. And because of the folks who were outside and those who observe, we always put things in the correct perspective. And because of the Almighty God, a diver, not by luck, not by chance, but a diver was on the scene. And when this car went off the road in that current of water, some of the villagers, including that diver, quickly got into action. And while the car was bouncing around on the trees and so on, heading for the main river, they were able to get in and to get that driver, who was the lone occupant of the vehicle, 83-year-old. And while he was drinking water, he was rescued. And of course, shortly after, I took him to his home, and the discussion going up the road was a case where he did not know what happened, because he said 1 minute he was driving, and in a split second, all he knew, he was sailing, and he sure he wasn't in a boat. He was just sailing, heading for the place of doom and death. And so we want to thank God today for providing those folks at the appropriate time, where that gentleman, who I know very well for a number of years, an ex-petrochin worker, matter of fact, was rescued and is safely within the precincts of his home. So we want to thank those who assisted in everywhere. And I want to acknowledge the Hilux Club of Trinidad and Tobago. And I want to acknowledge the Hilux Club because based on a video that we sent out as to what was happening in our area, a member of the Hilux Club came and assisted tremendously within the area of Palo Seco and Erin because the water was so high. Just imagine my bumper on my van is 4 feet 8 inches off the ground. 4 feet 8 inches. And water were actually almost to the bonnet of my vehicle. Water were actually half and half with the grill. The bumper is 4 feet. And the grill is about 8 inches above. And water was actually that high. And there is areas a little lower down where I couldn't venture into.
Wait there, Victor. Last time you do that, you didn't mash up your whole van, boy?
The last time it caused me a transmission, a differential. It cost me over $18,000 the last time I assisted people in those floods. And this flood was worse than the last time, Archie. But Archie, I have a family that stands with me, and this family made tremendous sacrifice. And on this occasion, they were saying, look, the life of people is much more important than a transmission, a brain box, a diff, and an engine. And therefore, we do what we had to do in order to ensure the safety of individuals. We actually run that flood whole day until approximately minutes past 10 last night we reach home. Whole day.
Well, you had a real excuse for missing the show yesterday, man.
Well, I had to. We had no choice. And actually, when I called, I think I said to you that, look, we are under tremendous pressure. And therefore, we had to assist the people. A matter of fact, actually, I felt so happy when the PNM councillor, Arlene Ramdeo, and I call in her name, when the PNM councillor called and asked, Mr. Roberts, I know you're outside in the flood, but there are some persons who need rescuing in La Morelle Trace, right? In La Morelle Trace. So, under those conditions, ladies and gentlemen, we put politics aside and we dealt with the issue that is at hand. I am no councillor, I am no member of parliament. I am just a man. And a man who put people first. And once you put people first, you will have no problem whatsoever in even risking your safety in order to save the lives of others. And that is what we did yesterday. We risked our safety while utilizing every precaution. Of course, we had our life jackets and so on available, but we did absolutely tremendously well within the circumstances to assist persons to get out of danger area and also persons to get into their home, because actually there were vehicles just lining the SS Erin Road, cannot go. So we kind of like, when vehicle drop at this point, we pick up from this point, we cross the flood, we cross to the next point. When vehicles come up and drop, and we had to work the Santa Flora, the number 9, the Palo Seco, the Los Charo, the Rancho Quemado, all the way down. We had to work different areas. And also, as I said before, I want to personally congratulate the members of the Hilux Club of Trinidad and Tobago, of whom I'm also a member of that club, for coming to the assistance, leaving their area and come to the assistance of the folks in Palo Seco, Erin. We want to say thanks very much.
Yeah, but you know, Victor, you You're saying thanks to the Hilux Club and thing for that kind of emergency assistance. But I'm seeing the same thing with this. It have this hunters and rescue team. And to me, they are like the official rescue team and find back team in Trinidad. Yet we have an army of government agencies. We have the most highly sophisticated equipment and tracker dogs and every single piece of equipment necessary for finding back people. Yet these hunters and rescue people have a very high percentage of success in finding back people. Is it that something wrong somewhere, boy, Victor? What it is going on in this country, boy?
Well,
is it the premise that these people say they're going to be running this country like a zombie in your face from Lekoto?
Actually, I was very, very much amazed that Councillor Derek called me during the period and he was inquiring as to, what kind of assistance can be given within the circumstance. But I am amazed that I want to ask a question. I want to ask why these municipal corporations, why these corporations have a disaster management team base. How come that these individuals or this section of the corporations, they are not equipped with the necessary equipment to assist in rescuing people under these extreme circumstances? That is my question to the Minister of Local Government. So you have a disaster management unit based in the corporations, but yet they can only show up after the disaster finish and tell you, well, look, we could bring a mattress and we could give you some cleaning agents and so on. But during the period when the people need rescuing, need the assistance, there are no equipment within these corporations, length and breadth, to assist. I think that the time has come where at least a little rubber dinghy with a little 40 engine on it, Archie, would be able to save the lives of individuals. Why it always take we the citizens to makeshift some kind of apparatus to save people within these natural disasters that occur from time to time? That is my question to the minister. Why hasn't these corporations, we experience this type of activity year go, year come. So you are saying to me that there is no vision within the thinking span of a minister, of a government, to say, look, we have had and we continue to have these situations ongoing on a yearly basis. Every time the season comes in, that people lose their life, and we must now put measures in place to have these corporations equipped with the necessary equipment to save and to assist the life and livelihood of the burgesses. That is my question. So something is drastically wrong, because what we have on a yearly basis is just ministers and government sending out condolences to people who lose their life, whether walking down the road and a current going with you, or falling into some manhole or something during the rainy season, and that's the end of the situation. Why it is that we doesn't have the disaster management carrying out in various communities, training sessions, helping people to understand not only the danger when we experience this kind of disaster, but having people equipped within various communities that when something like this happens, we will have a team of individuals within the various communities who is equipped and trained to respond to those situations. So if we didn't have a gentleman who on his own went into swimming and went into diving, if we didn't had a gentleman like that on site yesterday when that car was swept away in that river, then you know what would have happened? We would have had more than one person die. And let me tell you why. Because a number of individuals who can't even swim Archie, you know what happened yesterday? A number of individuals run through that water to render assistance to save that gentleman's life, even though they cannot swim. That is the reality.
Well, we had a live example of somebody doing that and they drowning themselves. They went to rescue somebody and they end up drowning. And that happened just last year.
And Archie, that is what I'm saying. So if these corporations with this management disaster team that we boast of, every time something happened, we talk about the management disaster team responded. But responded to do what? To bring a mattress, a piece of sponge, I may correct that, and some Clorox and some squeezy. That is the response.
And don't forget the photo ops, eh?
Exactly. Big, pretty vehicle, disaster management along the broadside of the vehicle. And it looked like the disaster management that they want managing. And it looked like the disaster management like they in disaster for their own self. And that is the sad reality that we face. And you will hear the Minister of Local Government, the Minister of Works and Transport, the National Security Minister, the Prime Minister. You will hear all of them jump out on the media and say, well, the disaster management team is on the ground and a report we liaison with the disaster management team and rescue efforts are on the way, and it is coordinated by the Minister of National Security and all the pack of hogwash. All the pack of hogwash. Just to tell you, by PR, public relation, that we on top of it, when the truth and the fact remains, they are at the bottom of it. That is what happening. They are on top of nothing. It's just a whole farce with all this big set of name, because when I called the corporation yesterday, when I called the disaster management unit, you know what was said to me? Well, under the circumstances, we really cannot do anything at this time. We are waiting for the water to subside. We're waiting for the water to go. That is it, actually. We are waiting for the water because our vehicle cannot pass. So I, who is a poor man, who license authority, may want to charge me and tell me that my vehicle too high. Listen,
correct.
Members of the Hilux Club who respond to any disaster, license officers want to charge me and tell we vehicle too high. You understand?
Well,
but when it's time to rescue people, let me tell you something. Yesterday, actually, the police was glad when they see we coming through the flood water with 12 and 13 and 15 people in the back of the van.
Says our minister wasn't glad to jump up on your van.
Remember Makashe and Kazim Hussein, the last flood? They were happy to ride on my van to go through the flood. But license officer ain't want to know that, you know. Them ain't want to know that. Them ain't interested in that, Archie.
But Victor, you say something there that have me rock back, because I say something there just now about hunters and rescue, looking like the official rescue people in Trinidad and very effective. You tell me you call disaster people and they tell you there's nothing they could do at the moment.
Under these circumstances.
Under these circumstances,
Yeah.
boy,
They're
partner.
waiting for the water
so
to
what them
subside.
guys pay for? What we use? What the taxpayers' money is going towards then?
Well, they're waiting for the water to subside before they could do anything, because they
So
say
what
they
if
can't come
okay?
through.
So what if the rain continue falling and the water start to go up and get worse?
Well, people drunk, Archie. We had to come out because, Archie, let me tell you something. I bought a boat, one of those rubber boats from an Amazon. You know for what? Not for me and my family to go in the river, you know. We bought that boat, how long now, Limoy? 3 years ago. We bought that boat to rescue people. We bought that boat from Amazon with a little battery engine, a 8. The engine is a 8 electrical. We bought that, Archie, and we brought that to our home in Palo Seco to rescue people. Archie, we went as far as to talk to the chief fire officer to come and show 1 or 2 people. We have 6 large fire extinguishers that we have at our home. And the reason for those extinguishers is because we have seen vehicles and homes burned down because the distance of the fire service to come down to Rancho and Erin, and sometimes they don't have water. So we bought those extinguishers, and a fire officer promised, well, it happened during the pandemic. He said, as the pandemic finished, he will come, he want me to select the folks, and he will come and show them the proper way to utilize these extinguishers. So if a fire break out, we can be the first responders in the district of Palo Seco.
Boy, Victor, the way you talking here now, you making me think that it may become necessary for the honest citizens of this country to set up a parallel government. We had to have we own fire station, we own fire tender, we own rescue mission. And now the topic you come to discuss this evening is this security thing. It seems as though we just can't stay as sitting ducks. It seems as though now that the honest and the law-abiding citizens may have to set up some sort of parallel security force to protect ourselves, because it's not just flood taking over Trinidad, not water flood. It seems as though it have blood flood in the country too.
Actually, that is where we are at this point in time. That is where we are at this point in time. And that is why we are putting the necessary measures in place. But the point I am making, Archie, how come the member of parliament, cannot, who have the responsibility and the resources,
You see him yesterday?
nowhere to be found?
Any word from his office?
Nowhere to be found.
field officer?
But I send you a document, but I see the screen off. I send you a document.
Oh.
I send you a document, Archie, with a donation sheet with a big balize on top of it. When you get chance, we will deal with that before we get into this. Before we get into the security issue. But the member of parliament is nowhere to be found. He is nowhere to be found. I am telling you that I was happy when I get a call from one of the councillors, and she was saying, Victor Roberts, where are you? Where is your location now? You know why, Archie? Because she's certain, she 100% certain that within this scenario, Victor Roberts outside in the field.
Any pictures there now?
Yeah.
Right.
She was certain that Victor Roberts is outside in the field. And she said, look, there are some elderly folks in Lamourelle Trace that need rescuing. And that is the level of confidence, Archie, that even the PNM councillors have. Because they know once a disaster appear, Victor Roberts is there. This is the sheet that I'm talking about, Archie. You could bring it up a little bigger. Yeah, now seated. Go on.
Oh, okay. Well, you had to hold on a little bit.
Yeah.
You had to hold on a little bit for that.
Right. Good. But we could continue. And that is the reality of things. They are certain that any disaster that we present, and this is not because we look for fame, this is not because we want to be recognized, but this is simply because we understand what it means to put people first. We understand what it means to put people's life above your own. We understand that. We understand what service means. And when you understand what service means, something that the PNM doesn't understand, something that they do not have within their thought pattern. Because if they had visions, if they had people first, we would not have been in the situation that we are in over the years. We would have had our area up and running. We would have these simple community-based training taking place. Very soon we propose to have 1 or 2 training sessions within our area, within library, so that people will understand and know what they need to do when these type of natural disaster happen. Rain is the act of God. We cannot stop that. But what we could do is have our river courses clean. What we could do is to have pumps where it's suitable. What we can do is to have people trained to respond, to deal with circumstance when these natural disasters occur.
Right, I think you're up there now, Victor. According to Anil, I get rusty over the little
Well, it does happen.
they didn't have shows.
It does happen, you know. It does happen. We can't get away from that. If you could pull up, let me just share this here because I know some people want to get in. We'll have some serious phone call in a little bit before we change the subject. But let me just share this my page, and we could move forward from there because I know there's a lot of people who wants to tune in to this session. So this is the reality, ladies and gentlemen. We have to do what we have to do to get the job done. Actually, could pull up that PNM page a little bigger for me. Just open it. I want to read the top. Somebody send that for me. I didn't really have a look at it yet. Right, come down a little bit there. Right. You need to, right, I'm looking good there. Right, so it said this sheet acknowledged the Labrie Constituency Family Day March Past team's effort to take part in the People's National Movement Sports and Family on April the 30th, 2023. Your generosity towards this event will be greatly appreciated. Now, somebody sent this to me, Archie. And what they are saying is that there are members of the PNM that is going around soliciting funds from business people in order to have this family day. Now, I have no problem, Archie, where various individuals may from time to time want to take part in an event, and they may go around to the business community and ask for assistance and so on. You know, like long time in our days, Archie, when we have our football team and we need to get a little sponsor for uniform and so on, we would have passed around the community and rap with some of the business people and tell them, well, look, we belongs to the JSSC at the time, which was the Jacob Settlement football team, and we would have solicit assistance from people who were willing to sponsor uniform and so on. But actually, let me tell you the problem I have in here. I can see the PNM going wrong to the business community and soliciting money for a family day, when to the end of the day, Archie, the PNM has not bring any form of meaningful contribution within the Labrador constituency. A matter of fact, the same business people that the PNM now going to ask to sponsor whatever on them family day is the same business people that Keith Rowley shut down, locked down and broke down the employment sector where they would have benefited from Petrotrin within that Labrador constituency. Today is the same people that the same PNM who had the business closing down, who have the business people can't see the way, who have a number of small business closed down, who have people selling yam out of the car trunk, who have people all over hustling, begging, looking for a hamper, calling anything today, anything this week, is the same PNM that they now going wrong to the one or two business who is in a bad shape, asking them to sponsor this and sponsor that. Well, I think you see the sheet, Archie. I think you saw the sheet. And if you watch the sheet, you will see what they receive. You will see the amount they receive.
Well, that remind me of Balize House, right? That sheet I see in, I don't believe that could raise the kind of funds. When you go to the actual event and you see the event are all kind of big $1 million attractions and thing inside there. Them little sheets can raise that kind of money. It remind me of Balize House.
So that's
right,
the,
where
that's
you tell
the
me you
cover-up.
sell raffle. Listen, and when I talk about raffle, me jokey man talking about raffle, Remember, I was the treasurer of the UNC and we had car raffle, and I know how much money a raffle could potentially bring in. Right? We run our raffle, and as best as, and watch, the people in the party really partake this thing, man. Our councillors and them, our MPs, they work hard. They sell out all the book. And Roberts, we ain't cross $500,000. We ain't cross $500,000.
Yeah.
So when you trying to tell me you sell raffle ticket and Toloman thing to build that Balize house, so that same sheet you showing me there, that can raise no funds to pull off them kind of family day. And anyhow, let me go where some investigative reporter go on harassing a UNC chairman because he approved 20,000 for a sports and family day. 20,000, for a corporation.
So actually, let we intensify this thing now. We will leave that as it is for now. Actually, I want to come back to a kind of sour point here. And this point is a tongue meeting that I saw was organized in the Aranguez area. And if I talk about that, something had to be wrong with me. I saw a meeting organized, and I want to know who is the organizers of that meeting, Archie. I will really like to know who is the organizers of that meeting.
Roberts, I know where you're going with that, I know where you're going with that. And it had a big, huge debate in one of these social media chats about the pros and cons of who organized, what happened, and all this kind of thing. But I watched the debate and I listened to the debate. And it's coming down to something was poorly organized. But what we have to understand is there's a political dimension and there's a human dimension. And depending on how you want to look at it, you're coming down on that side.
Well,
right?
here the side I coming down on.
Yes.
The side I coming down on is that I would not sit down and see a failure as Fitzgerald Hines. I don't care who organized it. I don't care who put it together, but I would like to know. And I have my own reasons why I would like to know. But you cannot tell me a big failure like Fitzgerald Hines, who have blood flowing on the streets of this country because of a lack of policy.
He get a boo, boy. He get a boo.
Because of a lack of policies. Hines tell we the citizens that it's not his job to put any security policy in place. Hines tell us it's not his job to generate any crime plan in this country. And that same Hines will go into a meeting, and I want to say with normal citizens, I'm forgetting the whole political dimension, normal persons, and you would tell me that people will sit down there and try to blame some superintendent of police when you have the real man there to blame, who is a failure in this country, in the whole of the history of national security, and you tell me that people treat that man with a high level of respect and a high moral dignity. They shuffle out to that failure in that meeting. Let me tell you something. I saw some meetings with Johnny Abraham and other individuals who were involved. And Johnny Abraham, who was an ex-police superintendent, was quite critical of the crime and what is happening. A matter of fact, if I should quote him right, he at one time even condemned some of the police in Central. You understand? You are the man who is in charge. The man who just tell you that he is not responsible to put any security measures in place to protect your life. And you tell me people sit down there and allow that man to smell like a rose, without giving him the treatment of a stinking Susie. I hope all you know why stinking Susie flowers there. I hope all you know why stinking Susie flowers. People planted around their house, they say, to keep away snake and to keep away everything that bad. But everybody present Fitzgerald Doncey-head Hines with a rose and not stand up and question Hines' lack of ability to put policy in place to protect your life. I am so disappointed and so ashamed at all you people who sit in that meeting. I don't know if Alexander frightened all you. I don't know if when I see Alexander, all started tremble. I don't know if all was intimidated, you know. I don't know. But I could never see Hines coming in Palo Seco. Never see Hines coming in any part of Library. Any part of the constituency of Library. And carry out that kind of notice meeting and talk about police vehicle and all that idiotic talk. Let me tell you something. Rowley come Palo Seco 3-4 times and go back on social media, go back on TTT or CNC3 and see what Rowley met in Palo Seco. On 2 occasions he had to cancel. 2 occasions he had to cancel coming in the Palo Seco government school. And when he come on the 3rd occasion, go back and see the treatment that he received. People killing people like fly in this country. People dropping down like jet when they throw petrol or soap water. And Heinz tell all you, it's not his job to put any policy in place. And all you clapping for Heinz, boy, something wrong with all you in this country, boy. And I say that without fear, favor, respect for anyone all you who was in that meeting. I don't care who organized it. I don't care political, non-political, whatever. The fact remains is that the Minister of National Security there, and people need to hold them accountable for the failure in our society. That is what we need to do. But on top of that, all you pat Heinz on the back and take some mama guy talk with some police vehicle that will be provided. All these are a bunch of jokers in this country, yes? But let we move on. We're moving on. Actually, I also want to say that, let me go there yet. Let me go on that topic yet. I'm going on the next topic. I, ladies and gentlemen, want to ask you, the people of this country, if you are satisfied, with your safety and your security, and are opening the phone lines, are opening the phone lines 7:30, and if need be tonight, are going until 8:30. Again, all the opportunity. Actually, you could pop the phone line by the time. Again, already opportunity to call and tell this program, if all you're satisfied with this level of safety and security that is now being provided by this government, the government of Trinidad and Tobago, led by Keith Christopher Rowley and the bunch of jokers that sit within his cabinet. I given already opportunity from 8:30 to call in, and the whole program is all your own. But if all you ain't satisfied, I want Archie to put up a pamphlet with what going to happen. I want to read this pamphlet for you people. You could small up a little bit, Right, all good. It says, join Victor Roberts' march for what? Safety and security. From the Aranguez Savannah to Woodford Square, Port of Spain. And that will be taking place on Saturday, May 6, 2023. The time would be 1 p.m. We will be leaving the Aranguez Savannah. The 6 p.m. that you're seeing there, that will be the conclusion of a meeting at Woodford Square from 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And the big question is, why is our murder toll rising in this country? My attorneys have sent written requests to the Commissioner of Police, the Mova Police Station respectively. We have sent in all the paperwork for this crime walk. And we are calling those of you, the citizens of this country, who is a victim to any form of criminality, to come out on Saturday. Actually, you can leave the pamphlet up. If you could put it up small one side, that would be good also. You could leave it on the screen one side. Right, you could go across and move me across. All the good actually. We are calling all those families and those who are a victim of any criminal act or activity in this country to come out at Woodford Square. To come out at Arangwes. This is your opportunity. This is your opportunity to send that message to the people who are in charge. This is your opportunity to tell Hines that yes, it is his responsibility to put policies in place in the parliament so that the police, on the other hand, would be able to get up and act. This is your opportunity to tell the police commissioner that property owners, business owners in this country must and should be granted FUL, firearm users license, to protect themselves where the authority cannot protect them. We have had in this country too much of lives going down the drain. And I want to ask a question, why? And I don't know if Archie have a clipping by a PNM stalwart woman. If he have it, he could move me and put up the clipping. And then we will get into some details as to what is happening in this country as a result of a call by a PNM woman by the name of Julia Davy, who went on social media and utter these words. Actually, if you have it and you could find it.
What we really need to tell them is how their mother make them. That's what we really need to tell them. But you see, there are a lot of people in this country still playing games with. We're supposed to be taking it to them. We're supposed to jump over the fence, run up inside of the house, hold them, and deal with them seriously. But no, we're getting ticks in this country.
Now, the little absence of words that you will hear, actually get the clip ready to run back from her, is where she used obscene language and Archie block it out because we don't condone that type of language on this program.
Well, Victor,
right.
What I want to say about this, yes, this is our old clip. Yes, this is a PNM spokesperson. Yes, this was actually said. Yes, this was recorded. But it is our old video. But she is still around. And I am just trying to figure out whether, because I just find it strange that all this gang warfare finish and all of a sudden all the guns turn in a particular direction. Right? Now, could it be another spokesperson, not necessarily Ms. Davies, or it could be her because she actually said that. And you know, there is a even more insightful video that, boy, I shame to put it up, where you actually targeting a particular sector of the population with insightful racial hatred and violence.
Archie put it up. It have nothing. Let me tell you something. Once you don't have obscenity, put it up. I go deal with it. You don't worry. Once it doesn't have obscenity, put it up. Put it up there. Because I want to deal with all of that one time, once and for all.
Here comes.
Put it up.
In this country, I live in this country and I know PNM do Indians more than they do Africans. Because I live in this country when Indian people was walking around wearing sari and sapat. A lion? Am I lying? Oh, I live in this country and I saw as a little girl Indian people walking around wearing sari and sapat. Some of them used to walk barefooted in this country. I live in this country when Indian people used to have lice running out of their head. Am I lying? Am I lying?
Right. So all you see, all you hold up, hold up. I want to go back to the Prime Minister. I don't know if Archie could find it. I want to go back to the Prime Minister and Rodney Charles. I want you to bear in mind what this woman just said. She lived in the country where Indian people, lice was running out their head. I want you to hold that thought. And I want to go back to the Prime Minister and Rodney Charles. I want to go back to that. I want to go back to the Prime Minister vocals in respect to a member of Parliament for Naparima, a man who was a diplomat in this country. I want you to look at the parallel with the Prime Minister utterance in relation to what this woman just said, that she live in this country. When Indian people, you have it, Archie?
Nah, Alan had to send that for you.
See if you could get Alan to send that for we, Archie. That is a very important clip. See if you could get Alan to send that. That is a very important clip. But in the absence of having it on hand, I want you to remember where the Prime Minister stood up in public and talk about Rodney Charles, whether he is flea laden and lice covering. Only remember those statements? Only remember those statements by Keith Rowley, the Prime Minister of this country? And we had Julia Davy saying that she lived in this country when Indian people had lice running out their head. What the idiot doesn't understand is that anybody could have lice running any part of the body. That is what the idiot didn't understand. But be that as it may, the clip before, which Archie says our old clip, where she say that we need to run up in the house and hold them and deal with them. Could it be, ladies and gentlemen, before I say that, if I should stay on this platform and tell the criminal element who killing themselves and killing other people to jump over Rowley fence and Faris fence and Kazim Hussein fence and Brian Manning fence and Becko's fence and Makashe fence and Camille Robinson Rage's fence, if I should tell the criminal element, stop shooting their own brother and sister and jump over the government fence and deal with them, you want me to tell you something? Before I reach downstairs in the studio, it will have a team of police officers waiting outside for me.
Watch that. You forget about that? A unknown fella write some little thing on his Facebook thing about the Prime Minister and police gone for him there.
I remember when police questioned this man over hate speech against Prime Minister Rowley. I remember the Rio Claro man was taken, Archie, when he was taken in for questioning by the police. I remember that.
And that little dirty mouth, flea-laden, lice-covered Rodney Charles.
You hear that? You could go back to Julia Davy for me quickly, Archie. Just go back to Julia Davy for me quickly.
Oh. For Indians in this country, I live in this country and I know PNM do Indians more than they do for Africans. Because I live in this country when Indian people was walking around from wearing sari and sapat. A lion? Am I lying? Oh, I live in this country and I saw as a little girl Indian people walking around wearing sari and sapat. Some of them used to walk barefooted in this country. I lived in this country when Indian people used to have lice running out of their head.
Go back to Rowley now for me, Archie. Go back to Rowley now for me.
Dirty mouth, flea-laden, lice-covered, Rodney Charles.
So you see, this thing is a PNM thing, you know. This thing is not a Julia Davy thing, you know. This thing is a PNM thing, because when you have a prime minister of a country who could incite this type of language and behavior against another parliamentarian who sits within the precincts of the parliament, and a prime minister could utter these words, what do you expect, ladies and gentlemen, when you have PNM activists telling the people, and I presume it have to be the criminal element that they were speaking to by telling them to get into the house of people.
But you see, there are a lot of people in this country still playing games. We're supposed to be taking it to them. We're supposed to jump over the fence, run up inside of the house, hold them, and deal with them seriously. But no, we getting.
So you understand what is happening in this country with home invasion? You understand what's going on with home invasion? You understand why they are attacking you? You understand why we have the murder rate as to where it is? You understand why Trinidad and Tobago crime situation is out of control? You understand why we finding police issue wrongs on these murder scenes? You understand why we finding Trinidad and Tobago regiment live and splint wrongs on these murder scenes? You understand why 500 rounds of ammunition could have disappeared from safekeeping of the authorities who is charged with the responsibility, with the vested power to protect and to have these ammunitions secure? I want to ask, how many guns that are seized by the police is back on the streets selling and killing people? I want to ask, who is responsible for the safety of these firearms that has been confiscated off the streets, and where these firearms are today? I want to ask that question. Today in our country, ladies and gentlemen, the whole country is out of control. We are living in a society where nobody seems to be safe. The Prime Minister and his cabinet, they not only have protection from the law enforcement agency, but they also have their firearm with them. They also have their personal issue stuck in their waists at their homes. But you, the citizens who pay taxes, who have the government living lavish, they are implementing every measure so that you cannot protect yourself. They are implementing every measure where you cannot get a firearm, a legal firearm in this country. But if I tell you to arm yourselves with whatever firearm you could get, I am telling you, the police will be outside waiting for me. But the PNM activists, they could tell the criminal element to storm your homes, run up in your house, and deal with you, and no police will pick her up and even question her, much less to charge her for incitement. But let me come on social media and tell the criminal element, don't point all your gun at each other. Jump in Rowley house, jump in Julia Davy house, jump in Farris house, jump in all of them house, and deal with them, and you will see how fast, you will see how quick. I make the headlines. Victor Roberts, social activist, arrested for inciting violence against the Prime Minister and his cabinet colleagues together with his activists. Them could do it and get away. But we on this side, we cannot do it and get away. We cannot do it and get away. How much people afraid to report when their homes are invaded, how their children and their wives are being raped by these hooligans.
Take a call.
Welcome, caller.
Hello.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Oh God, I'm so happy, Victor, that you brought that up. I'm calling from Toronto, and I followed this lady about a couple of weeks ago, and she's just inciting hatred against one nationality to the other. And I don't know why the radio station has her still on, and she should be fired. She should be gone. But then again, look at who is, the example, Rowley. He is not fit to hold that position. I live in a big country in Canada, and the kind of things that this guy says, about Camilla, the nasty thing about put the monkey where the nuts is, and, this guy have no sense. I really think he's retarded, together with a few of them in his cabinet. But this lady got to go. She's no good. She represents nothing. And so is Rowley. I am Trinidad background, but I live in Canada all my life from a young girl. And it hurts me to see the country, what it's come to. The number 6 in the world for guns and killing and murderers. It's an embarrassment.
Thank you, Bola.
I'm really glad. I'm really glad you're doing this program. I'm really glad. But she has to go. And I hope she never comes to Canada, because I don't want her to come here and promote hatred with Indians. It's nasty, she's obnoxious, and she should be fired.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you so much, Victor.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, ma'am. The phone lines are open. We're taking all your calls here this evening. All your calls, the phone line open.
Yeah, but the phones was busy just now, so we might have to ask people to make their contribution crisp, sharp.
Right. So, caller, you hear that? We go in, make your conversation to the point, and we're moving on, because people want to get in. So the phone line is open. Call and interrupt me anytime. But we can no longer tolerate this kind of behavior in this country. You people are not safe. Today we had 2 guys selling the melon and what have you. And what happened? People just getting shoot down in this country like dogs. Welcome, caller.
Hello, good night, Mr. Victor Roberts.
Good night, sir.
I am asking you again, what day we are going out to do the march?
On the 6th, it's on the screen, we're going out on the 6th of May. That is next week, Saturday. We are assembling at the Arangwe Savannah by 12 and we're leaving there by 1.
Thank you very much. This is your...
Thank you, caller. Welcome, caller.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes, welcome.
This is Santa Cruz here.
How you going Santa Cruz, right?
Yeah, okay. Here now, Julia Davies, I am hoping that they jump to her fed and go for her. That's Julia Davies. That wicked, evil, ugly face woman. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, caller. So Saturday the 6th, be at Arangwe Savannah for 12 o'clock. We cannot play anymore with the lives of people in this country. Your loved ones, your mothers, your brothers, your sisters, going out there to make a honest day work. Their cars are being stolen. Farmers cutting grass, robbed, shot. Farmers in the garden murdered. Vehicles stolen. Home invasion. How many wives and daughters are being raped when these savage animals enter into your home? How much? And then Heinz telling you that is not his job. Welcome, caller.
Good night, Archie.
Good night.
Good night, Mr. Victor.
Good night.
You know what worrying me? These Indians in the PNM, hearing all this insult, and still saying there, but a dollar fooling them. They are no shame, they're disgraceful.
Thank you, caller. I mean, this is what is happening in this country. Watch where we are for this month. And we have a commissioner of police who telling us that is the calm, is the storm before the calm. You seen any calm in sight in this country? You seen the government implementing any measure to create a calm in this country? The police themselves are helpless in most cases. And those who are helpless, they are all involved in stupidness. How these ammunition reaching in the hands of criminals? So let me ask a question. Is it police that executing people? And if it's not police that executing people, how the ammunition that belong to the protective service reaching out in the hands of the gangsters in this country? How? It didn't fall in like rain because Palo Seco would be full of ammunition if it did fall like rain. But the people of this country are sitting down, and only just getting accustomed, only just adjusting on themselves to the foolishness that's going on in this country. What's this idiot? Watch it.
What is the government's plan? Well, I just want to say this, The police service has a strategic plan, and the police service have anti-crime plan. Not the minister. I don't come up with no plan.
You tell me something now. This
caller.
Welcome, caller.
Good night.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, I'm calling from Canada. I'm looking at the program right now. Let me see. I'm a trainer. And it has default Canada.
Caller, we lost you there. Welcome, caller.
Good night, Mr. Archie. Good night, Mr. Roberts.
Good night, sir.
Mr. Roberts, let's not take 2 minutes of your time to tell you about the flood in 2016 in Palo Seco, where people was impassable and for days marooned when Trinidad had to send personnel to help and assist to help people. Now, the ODPM, right? They buy 2 vehicles, Jeep, worth nearly $1 million each. But the farms in all over the place with it, except to rescue people. When Ms. Kamla Pasal Bisesa was in government, they had programs, trained, and each council, the regional corporation, don't matter if it was KNM or UNC, they had a rapid response and a plan for a natural disaster that the coordinator will be the chairman of the regional corporation in the area, the police, the maxis, the taxis, and people, the village council, people will be first responders, and was training people. But you see, the military have all the dinghies for Port of Spain to slant and show. And the only way to fight crime now is to buy a lot of vehicles with the $5 billion to fill somebody's pocket. And it's time we talk out and say that the commissioner of police is just like Jacob, is a political pawn, and they are not doing the work. Is not an active police commissioner, is appointed, and she had the power and the authority to give instructions to her officers. And the crime, yes, if I say he's not responsible for she doing what she has to do, but she have the right to send the officers on the street. But you see, when they give them 4% and they break the morals of the officers and them, when this Kamla Pasal was building station, giving them equipment and tools.
You had to wrap up, caller. You had to wrap up quickly.
Good night, yeah. Good night.
Wrap up quickly. Thank you, caller. We lost that one, Archie? Yeah. So the fact remains, ladies and gentlemen, is that you people in Trinidad and Tobago, what you're waiting for death to come and meet you home? You're waiting until your mother or your father get gunned down before you take a stand? That's what you're waiting on? I can't see how people playing smart with foolishness. I can't see how people could just sit in a country and see the blood flowing on the streets of a country with a government who telling you that is not them plan. That the police service, you see, Heinz making you to believe that the police service could come up with policies to deal with situation. Heinz making you feel that the police service is to be blamed for what is happening in the country. Is the government to be blamed for what's going on in the country? It is the government. Because the government have implemented austerity measures. And just now, when the IRC finish with you and they drop the increase by your doorstep, it's more robbery, it's more murders, it's more home invasions, because people cannot pay the bills because of the policy that the government introduced. The people cannot send the children to school because of the policies of Keith Rowley and Heinz. Crime is out of control because of the ignorance of the government. Welcome, caller.
Good evening, Mr. Roberts. Good evening, Archie, and to everybody out here.
Good day, Miss Santa Cruz.
I am so glad that you brought up the issue with the young man from Rio Claro. Because all he did when he said that Rowley, they should do Rowley just like what's going on in the country. They jailed him man for 5 days. They had him in jail for 5 days. Right? But this one, making videos left, right, and center, because she also made 2 videos threatening Mrs. Masabi Sessa. When Gary Griffith was asked about it, he said videos are inadmissible in court. So they can say what they want and get away with it. And you see, that is where it's stemming from. Home invasions. Jump over the fence, run up to the door, break it down and deal with them.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is what it is going on now. Right? And they're getting away with all the nonsense that they're doing. And before I leave, I want to say, Keith Rowley feels that he can continue with this arrogance that he's getting on with as a prime minister. That nobody can ask him a question concerning the welfare of our country. Right? When David Lee asked him questions, he was very arrogant and ignorant. Nobody must ask him anything because he feels he's boss. I tell you, it's really the devil running this country. Thanks a lot and have a good evening.
Thank you, Ms. Santa Cruz. And you could not have put it better. You could not have put it better, Ms. Santa Cruz. It seems as though it's the devil in charge. Because if a man could tell you and tell his supporters and tell the country and tell the international community that he is responsible for Patrick Manning's demise, that alone should tell you the kind of individual that we have sitting as a prime minister. Because jump high, jump low, the enemy of an individual somehow does have compassion when they see the demise of the enemy at hand. People just feel sorry and say, boy, oh Lord, boy, have mercy. But when a man could stand up by Pigot's corner on a platform and rejoice to the public that he have Patrick Manning in that position, and on top of that, the supporters could clap and ray and cheer, it tells you that the devil is in control.
Close the liquor too. The last time I was put out of anywhere for anything, the person who put me out regretted it.
You understand, people? You really understand who all you have in charge? All you understand who all you have in charge? All you understand who all you supporting? All you understand who all you rain and cheering on? All you understand why the country in this calamity? Welcome, Gola.
Good night, Mr. Robert.
Good night, good night.
I want to give you a little info. There's a rumor circulating that the police not satisfied with 4%, so they not putting out the best. So the citizens in this country have to come out and support you on this match on May the 6th. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kola. And Kola, I want them to know that they would not only be supporting me, I want them to know that they will be supporting safety and security for themselves, for the children, for the loved ones, for the mother, for the father, for the brother, for the sister, for the aunt, for the cousin. That is what you will be doing. We cannot allow this country to go down the drain. The international community, very, very soon, very, very soon, we will have no investors here at all, because people on the international stage, realize that coming to Trinidad and Tobago is as going to a cemetery. You're not safe. And while Rowley could stand up in the parliament and poppycock the population, while he could poppycock the population in the parliament, you have to stand up. Welcome, Gola.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Roberts and Mr. Archie. I just want to make some points here very quick. First point number one, not a single person in the PNM or a politician or a church has condemned that kind of behavior. In a country that could teeter into sleepwalk into a civil war or unrest because of somebody's stupid statement. Not a church. Who's supposed to represent? When they ask Bishop, well, I don't want to go there yet. Let me go straight to my next point, because I fear the point that concerns me, politicians globally and in history, right, has fallen into certain kind of categories, and Rowley is one of them. Rowley needs civil or racial unrest in this country to stay in power because he's a failure. Nobody wants him yet, but he has to find a means of how he could still yes, he just what he can do. Not a single one. Yes.
Thank you, Kola. Welcome, Kola.
Yeah, Mr. Hello, good afternoon. You hear me?
Good day, Kola. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Well, I want to say that I'm going to have to Santa Cruz. I heard you just so. Mr. Roberts, don't care what the people in Trinidad and Tobago do and say right now the only solution to this country problem is to remove the PNM from our affairs. The PNM, the country is going to change back to normal. PNM take over the paradise of the country, and they're afraid to tell Dr. Rowley that I can tell them that of any program. Once you move the PNM, the country is going to bounce back immediately. And I want to close by saying this. We stop a woman from doing what she was doing. When that woman finished the job, she will return to do it. And they're afraid of Dr. Rowley. You have to go. Let it kick, squeal, ball, or they're gone. Good night from Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you, Kola. Next caller. Phone lines open. All you call, all you interrupt me anytime. Interrupt me anytime. So this evening is for all you to say what you have to say.
Yeah, and keep it
short and keep it coming.
Real plenty calls coming through tonight.
Yeah, I see we miss about 3 days now. So ladies and gentlemen, I am telling you, prolong some volume the yacht. I am telling you that we just can't sit back and see the blood flow on streets. A matter of fact, the amount of blood on the streets flowing, we could fix every pothole in this country. Every pothole. Just imagine, we are sixth. We are number 6 in the world in relation to criminality. Number 6. We had 600 plus murders last year. And we allow our government to get away with that. 600 of your loved ones gone down the drain. Welcome, caller.
Good night, Mr. Victor Roberts and Mr. Archie.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Good night. I will be there with you, Mr. Victor Roberts, on the 6th of next month, on your side. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller. We had 600 of your loved ones gone down the drain last year. 600 plus. And you sit back as a country and allow that figure to pass. Allow Hines and Rowley and the acting commissioner of police that we had to just allow that to brush under the carpet. We start at a rate in this country that 600 will be a joke. But it's not 600 stone. It's not 600 cattle. It's not 600 goat or 600 duck. It is 600 human life that gone. And this year, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the point where we will make 600 look like a small figure. And Keith Rowley, the Prime Minister, will stand up in the Parliament and get on like a jack donkey and refuse to answer questions because he have the cover of the Speaker and because he named Prime Minister a name that is not fitting to be his. Welcome, caller.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I'm calling from Brooklyn, New York.
Go ahead, New York. Make it quickly.
Yes, sir. I heard that lady on that platform, and she is spreading people against each other. I am in New York. I live in New York for 53 years, and I never see anybody wearing a sapat on their foot with saris.
Huh.
Correct.
She's telling people to jump people's fence and go take care of them. God is in control. Trinidad need prayer, sir.
Correct.
God bless you all. Be safe. You all doing a very good job.
Thank you, caller. Thank you very much.
God bless. From Brooklyn, New York.
Same Brooklyn in New York here. And people are right. If I made those statements, if I call tonight and tell people jump Rowley fence and deal with him, and jump Forest and Armor fence and deal with them, I am telling you that the police will be outside waiting. They will be waiting for me. I on the same social media platform that woman was on. And if I make the same statement that woman made, I am telling you, Kyle Takral Singh and the team, the battery of lawyers, will have to visit me in Marbella police station, or San Fernando police station, or Port of Spain. That is the reality. But they could do as they want. They could do as they please. The criminality that is taking place in this country, it is at the government level. It starts at the government level and trickle down the ladder. When you have Keith Rowley, who boasting how we get 400,000 off on an apartment building in Hines Gate, when to the end of the day, the Integrity Act, the Integrity in Public Life, tell you what present you could get, what gift you could get, and the amount. To the end of the day, you have Foster Cummins, $4.4 million. If I tell the criminal element to jump Foster Cummins fence and Rowley fence and deal with them, I am telling you the police is going to be waiting. I only have to make a joke and tell the criminals, all you're pointing the gun at the wrong people, point it at Rowley and Cummins and Alwari, and the police going to be waiting for me. If I take God out my thoughts and make that statement. But them could do anything. They could say anything and get away with it. So what you expect? Special Branch sent a report on Foster Cummins. Rowley stood up and said, I stand with the minister. Foster Cummins was a senator. He was promoted to a member of parliament by Keith Rowley's selection. And on top of that, he was promoted again to be a minister by the direct intervention of Keith Rowley. That is the reality. So I am calling you, the people of this country, all who is affected by crime. The 6th is your day. Come out on the 6th at the Arangwe Savannah and let us walk. We want no music truck because we ain't having no, it's no party. It ain't nothing to celebrate. We want no music truck. We walk in. We will be the music. We will chant and sing. We don't even want a mica. We don't even want a PA system. When we reach in the square, we will get up. Come out on the 6th. I call in Gary Griffith. Come out on the 6th, Gary. You will have your opportunity to speak at the square. I call in Philip Alexander. Come out on the 6th. Philip Alexander. You will have your opportunity to speak. This is a people's walk. This is not a political walk. I call in every group. I call in every group in this country to come out on the 6th.
Business chambers.
Come out on the 6th.
Clergy.
Come out on the 6th.
The unions.
Come out on the 6th.
The victims.
Come out on the 6th. The LGBTQUA, the whole alphabet, come out on the 6th. Nobody safe according to the law association. Come out on the 6th. Just come out. This is no game thing, you know. This is no game thing. This is real. People losing their life like chicken in this country. I am saying the rate we're going at by murdering our citizens, we are better than a pluck shop. It had no pluck shop in this country could beat the figures as to what is happening on the streets. All of you who believe you're safe, it's only, and I tell you that, you know, I warn all you, I tell all you, look, all of you who home and ain't want to speak out of what going on, crime going to come at your doorstep. I tell all you the criminal go be on your doorstep, you know. I tell all you that.
Boy, Victoria used to say the pond is dry from the end.
But it be end the pond dry, and Archie. All who in the center believe that the water deep and nice, very soon you will realize that there is no water in the pond. And when you realize that there is no water in the pond, you're dead. You're dead. This ain't no magic that you're dead today and you're coming back tomorrow, you know. This ain't no magic, you know. This is real business here in this country.
Yeah, and Victor, this march is just fly by night, you know. Remember, this was supposed to be Good Friday, but due to respect of your Muslim brothers, they call you and they ask you to defer this march.
And so we did. We call in the Islamic community who just come out from fasting, who just went on for a whole month of intense fast. We calling you to come out on the 6th at Arangwes. We calling the Christian fraternity, come out on the 6th and let your voices be heard. We calling the Mahasabha, come out on the 6th. We calling the Hindu community, come out on the 6th. This is the time that you, the people of this country, you have to send a message to the criminal element and to the government that we are going to fight back. We are going to fight back. We're not going to put our hands in the air and surrender to the criminal element and to a government that encouraging criminality in our country. We are going to fight back. And we must fight back with every drip of strength and blood in our country in order to stop the blood from running on the streets, Trinidad and Tobago. We have to fight back. We have to stand up. We have to defend the defenseless. We have to defend our family. We have to defend our children. We must defend each other. Welcome, Gola.
Yes, good night again. Just now the call. But just wanted to make sure that if there could be a survey done, that people could know the amount, if you add all the PNM voters, the UNC voters together, you will realize that there are more victims than the two parties put together.
Yes, sir.
If you ask anybody, do you know a friend? Do you have a friend? Do you have a cousin? Do you know anybody? Go in the bar, anybody, and ask everybody in the bar if they know anybody who's been a victim of crime. They will tell you yes. I realized that by accident. I realized that I'm going to taxi and there everybody started talking about they know somebody who get crime. That is to tell you the extent, and some people don't have things on their report. So that is uncounted. So this thing is overwhelming, and we urge the population to come out. It is a citizen's problem. This is a citizenry problem.
Yes, sir.
You know, and the thing, I have this fear, and I'm talking about a satanic government. You know, there is a clear and present danger to the society. They fall in the same category as the criminals. They're sick. I never see a group of people who hold power in a country that's so sick in the head. Some pedophile come down the line. Something wrong with them fellas. And they need to go in a hurry by any means necessary. You cannot have this nonsense continue.
Welcome, caller.
Good night, Victor.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Victor, the people of Trinidad and Tobago need to wake up and realize what is going on in this country. The PNM has been a government who has never been for the poor and the vulnerable people in this country.
Actually, let's move off the screen 1 minute.
Hello?
Go ahead, caller. You go ahead. We hear you.
Yeah, the PNM government has always neglected all the poor and vulnerable communities. That is why we have all these communities and these crime hotspots in all the PNM constituencies. Why is that happening? Why are these children allowed to turn into gangsters and criminals? It is because of neglect by their own PNM. We have to stand up against this. They keep them like that so that they can rule, divide and rule. That is what this PNM government has always been doing ever since Eric Williams. That is how Eric Williams was able to control this country for 30 consecutive years using race and division, dividing this country by race, by religion, by unions, and so on, dividing the working class against the rest of the country. We have to stand up against this government. We cannot take this anymore. This is the lives of our children, our grandchildren. The future of the nation is going down the drain. It is time we stand up. We have to stand up and fight against this monster that we have called the PNM. The PNM voters need to wake up and realize they have been suffered. They have been groomed, brainwashed into believing all sorts of nonsense and dividing this country to rule it. Who benefited from all the years, the 51 years of PNM rule? Who benefited? Why is it Rowley in 2019 had to say that Africans are not vulnerable and they're not doing well? Rowley told us that. He said Laventil is the latrine of Port of Spain. How could that be if PNM was ruling Laventil for 67 years? How is that possible? Why are we allowing this government to do us that? Africans and Indians need to wake up and realize this government is not for the people, never was for the people, and will never be for the people. That is the demise of Trinidad and Tobago, the PNM.
Thank you, Kola. Thank you very much, Kola.
Thank you, my brother.
And this is the reality. Right. This is the reality. This is not a game, people. This is not a joke. We have to fight back. We have to stand up. I am calling all the social media groups. All the social media groups, you come out. Come out. Let us fight against what is happening. You are not safe in this country. You have no line of defense. There is no line of defense for you, the citizens. Every police officer these days going home with a firearm. You know why? So that they can protect themselves and their loved ones. Today, when you apply for a firearm, you have so many red tape, green tape, blue tape, yellow tape, pink tape, all kind of tape, that you have no defense, and the government would not intervene and make it possible where you can defend yourself. You are at the mercy of the criminals in this country. You are at the mercy. The criminals have more authority than you, the law-abiding citizens in this country. But you have a minister that telling you it is not his job. It is not his job to protect you. It is not his job to generate policies to protect you. It is not his job to ensure that you are safe. But it's his job to live off of your taxpayer dollar. It is his job every 2 years to get a tax-free vehicle. It is his job to enjoy the perks from your tax. It is his job to get tax-free. He could shop online. He could do as he please. It is his job only to get high grades. That is his job. It is his job to sleep in the parliament while you can't even sleep home. The house, the castle, which ought to be your sanctuary, which ought to be your safe haven for you and your children and your wife. The only place where you should be feeling safe. If the dog only bark twice, you cannot sleep for the rest of the night. If your dog bark twice for the rest of the night, you are awake and probably peeping by some window to see whether you will be the next statistic or your neighbor. That is factual. And the government have no plan to have you safe. So you have to make yourself safe. You have to make your family safe. You have to use whatever method it takes to protect your family in your home. You're not safe in the supermarket. You're not safe in the bank. You're not safe driving down the road and stopping by a traffic light. You're not safe parking up in your car in the mall. You're not safe at any intersection. It's any minute, any time. And if you hear the song of gunfire, it means that you are still alive. But sometimes you hear the first couple noise and you would not hear the rest because you are dead. It was Keith Rowley who said, and if the government cannot deal with it, meaning the crime situation, then the government, the whole of the government, he said itself is a part of the problem. Today, ladies and gentlemen, the government is part of the crime problem in the country. Today, ladies and gentlemen, the government have no clue how to fix the problem. And today we are calling you, the citizens of this country, to come out, join this march for safety and security in your country. Ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap up here tonight, I want to tell you that the conduct of your prime minister in the place where discussions, meaningful discussions and dialogue, the place where we, the citizens, have selected individual through the voting process to have dialogue. We go take the call, Archie. Welcome, caller.
Good night, Mr. Robert.
Good night.
The people who fight for what we fucking for couldn't read and write. And we educated the suffer. So let us.
Why, caller? Archie, I ain't quite get what you say now. I ain't get quite what you say at all. Ladies and gentlemen, the place that we expect that dialogue will take place, where the citizens will have a clear understanding as what ought to be the next step in terms of protection for you and your loved one. The Prime Minister choose to trample upon that place, by extension trampling upon you, the citizens, to ensure that there is no answer to any question that is placed. The question and answer segment in the parliament, it is there for a purpose. It is there where accountability would be forthcoming, so that you, the citizens, would understand what is actually happening within your society. But your Prime Minister have chosen to trample upon your democratic rights. he has chosen to infringe his ideology, which is stupidity, upon you, the people of this country, so that he will answer what he feel to answer, and what he don't feel to answer, he just shut it down. And the speaker would not demand that the prime minister answer the question, so that you would understand what is going on within your parliamentary system in this country, which will either benefit you or bring you to a part of your demise. But to the end of the day, all is well, because the prime minister have surrounded himself with people who is nothing but stooges. Yes. Surround himself with a pack of stooges that when he say A, they seeing Z. They watching a big Z watching them, you know. And they're saying yes is A. It's just the parts break up and they move it in different ways. But if you take it apart and put it together, you will see the A. That is what all they support in this country. On the 6th of May, at 12 p.m., I am expecting to see the people who is affected by criminality in this country. I am expecting to see the people who feel unsafe in this society. I am expecting to see the people who lose their children, grandchildren, their mother and father, present as we walk together in unity, and as we gather at Woodford Square and we have a discussion on the way forward in respect of this criminal activities, where we are now number 6 in the world, not number 1, you know, but we heading there. Just now we will be number 1 in the world, but for now we are number 6 in the world with criminality, where your loved ones continue to fall by the side of the road, in savannas, in playfields, in drains, on the Baba Green, in cars, in vans, and in their homes. We are saying safety and security must be the order of government business, and we intend to stand to ensure that come to the forefront, and we will do it together. There is where we will have to leave it tonight. I want to say thanks to Alan Karim for providing some of the material for us here tonight. Alan Karim, a very hard working individual, and I consider him a stalwart within the United National Congress. I want to say thank you, Alan, for your support tonight in terms of providing those material. And I will look forward for your support in providing other materials as we continue this program that we call Facts, Not Fiction. Please be safe, ladies and gentlemen. Looking forward to see you on the 6th. God bless. Good night.
Since you take over as Prime Minister, it's plenty pressure. We have to suffer, and you will do nothing better. Rowley really have to go. Oh, so Rowley really have to go. Oh, Rowley really have to go. Since you coming forward, you is a big failure. Collapse the economy and it do nothing for we. really have to go. Oh, Sir Rowley really have to go. Oh, Sir Rowley really have to go. The crime rate is out of hand, they're shooting up we blessed land. We need more protection, it's time to take some action.